Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Daniel, and on this channel I share everything UK immigration, transition into tech, and personal finance. So now there's been this trend going on TikTok and so many other social media platforms about people leveraging on the self-sponsorship route if you're an immigrant living and working in the UK. Now, in as much as this route makes absolute sense, there are a couple of caveats that you need to put into consideration before you decide to go to the self-sponsorship route. Now, this self-sponsorship route is not for everybody. I mean, even if you've got a business idea, the self-sponsorship route is not something that you should do if you fall under certain categories that we're talking about in this video. So it's not, understand the fact that, you get a business, set it up, sponsor yourself, and you can continue to live and work in the UK. Now, this might be a bad idea on the long run if you don't meet some of these requirements I'll be sharing with you guys in this video. So if you're currently in the UK working and living as an immigrant and looking at the leveraging of the self-sponsorship route, you should want to stick to this video till the end. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. For those who don't know about this UK self-sponsorship route, there are actually a couple of processes that you need to put in place if you want to sponsor yourself on the skilled worker visa. Now, this is the application process. The first thing you need to do is to establish a UK company. You need to register your company with Companies House. I can probably share a full video on how you can register your company yourself with less than £50 and you get your business on Companies House. However, before you decide to open a business and register with Companies House, there are so many requirements that you need to meet, and there are certain conditions that you need to put into consideration before you take that step. Now, the fact that you're planning to start a business, the first step is not to open a business, or register with Companies House. There's some things you need to put into consideration before you do same. Now, after you register your business with Companies House, the next thing is for you to obviously open a business account and start your business. Basically, start making income, start building, your portfolio, create business plan if you need to apply for contracts, with local authorities or other organizations. Now, basically, just start running the business and start generating some level of income within your business. Now, after you've been able to get to all of those processes, you have a business plan, your business is up and running. The next thing you need to do is to apply for a sponsor license. Now, you need to demonstrate to the Home Office that your company is genuine and capable of fulfilling sponsorship duties. Now, one of the sponsorship duties include you being able to pay salaries. So if your business is not generating enough income for you to be able to pay salaries, then you might not be able to prove to the Home Office that your company can, carry out or is capable of fulfilling, sponsorship duties. Because I'm sure, for you to sponsor anyone, the person must be a staff on your team and you must be paying the person's salary. So even if you're sponsoring yourself, there must be a salary tied to the job you're sponsoring yourself for. So if your company's income is £10,000 in a year, the question is, how do you then pay salary from £10,000? So that's why I tell people that the fact that you've registered a business doesn't mean that you can fulfill sponsorship duties. So you need to make sure that the company you're, applying for sponsor license with has the capability to, fulfill sponsorship duties. Now, after you've been able to, apply for sponsor license, the next thing is to assign a certificate of sponsorship. So now, once your license is granted, the Home Office is convinced and happy with your application, you will be able to assign sponsorship license. So let's say, for example, I got a business, applied for license, which was approved, and I want to sponsor myself as an employee in my own business. I can then assign a certificate of sponsorship for myself, which is the self-sponsored route people have been talking about on TikTok and every other social media platform. Now, it's also important for you to know that assigning a sponsorship doesn't mean you're already sponsored. It means that you will need the COS to then apply for your skilled worker visa, which is where it gets a little bit tricky. Now, if you're applying for a skilled worker visa, so let's say, for example, I employed myself as the business analyst in my organization. So it means that I need to meet certain requirements, for me to get a skilled worker visa. Just to mention a few, it includes the salary threshold requirements. It includes a couple of other requirements I need to meet. It has to be permanent and a full-time job. So if my business has an income of 25 grand in a year, and I'm saying that I'll be paying myself a salary of 30,700, it's really not realistic, except the other ways. The income is going to be coming in. Probably you'll have, you're applying for loan, or you just got a loan granted, or you've got some investors who are investing. So you need to make sure you provide all of those documents to prove to the home office that even though your company is not generating enough income, there are other sources at which income is coming into their business. And after you've gotten your COS assigned, the next thing is to then apply for your skilled worker visa. Now, all of this process has certain cost implication. For example, for you to apply for to get your company set up on Companies House, you need to pay certain fee, and I mean between the range of 15 to 70 pounds. You get that sorted if you're planning to do it on your own. If you need some help with creating or registering your account on Company House, you might want to jump in my one-to-one session. We can always help you get that all sorted. Now, the next thing is to register an office address. So of course, if you're employing someone, if you register your company, you always need to have like an office address. Even with Company House, they need to get like an address, and the address can be anywhere. You can even use your personal location as your company address, which I personally don't recommend. I mean, if anybody, it's going to be a public data. So if anybody type in your company name on Google or Company House website, it shows your address. So you want to kind of protect your personal home address from that space. So it means that you might need to register a business, or you might need to kind of register a business address. Or I mean, there are other ways of doing that. There are franchise that you can use their location as your company address, and any letter you get, they get to transfer it to your home address. So in that way, you have the public address on Company House, while the address you're using, they get to transfer. So there's quite a cost attached to it. The last time I checked, I think you probably will be required to pay about £50 on a yearly basis, which is not a lot for you to get like an online address to use for your application. Then also there's a couple of cost implication around application fee. If you're a small charitable organization or a sponsor, you'll be required to pay about £536, while if you're a small and medium, a large and medium sponsor, you pay about £1,400 thereabouts. So now this is the whole process of the self-sponsorship route. Now this is the major concern I've got with this sponsorship route, is the fact that if you decide to establish a business and you want to sponsor yourself, it's really important to make sure that that business will be able to generate enough income to meet your financial obligations. And I've had conversations with people who went on this self-sponsorship route. However, the business they're doing is not generating enough income for them to be able to live on that income. So let's say, for example, imagine someone who is on a self-sponsorship route with a business that you created, and on a yearly basis, you can see yourself making, less than £5,000, which will not be enough to pay your bills, pay your rent, pay electricity bill, and, other, financial obligation that you might have. So you can't take up another employment. You can only work extra 20 hours with another employer. So you're on sponsorship, you sponsor yourself. However, you're not generating enough income to help you to be able to meet up with your bills, if that makes sense. So that's why if your business, you're not sure of how variable or how much income you'll be able to generate on that business, going on the UK self-sponsorship route might not be a good idea. Now, on the flip side, which I think kind of makes sense, if you have a business that is booming and they acquired an opportunity to show that you're becoming an authority or a potential authority in that space, it kind of makes more sense to apply for the Global Talent Visa than applying or doing this self-sponsorship route. With the Global Talent Visa, even if your business is not booming or your business is not doing well, you can always apply for jobs with another organization, because your visa, which is the Global Talent Visa, is not tied to that business. But if you do a self-sponsorship route, it means that your visa will be tied to that job. So if that business of yours is not booming, is not generating enough income, you're stuck, because you only have the right to live and work in the UK. However, you wouldn't have enough income from that business, and the extra 20 hours you're allowed to do on that visa might not be enough to meet up with your financial obligation. So before you go on the self-sponsorship route, you need to put this into consideration. I've had people I've spoken with recently who are currently on the self-sponsored route. They sponsor themselves on their business, and that business is not generating enough income. So if you're able to convince the Home Office that you can provide, you're able to fulfill sponsorship duties and you meet all of the requirements that your business is genuine, I think you'll be able to also convince an endorsing body to endorse your business, basically. So if you're someone in the tech space, you can, be able to convince Tech Nation that your business is viable, it's new, it's something that will be able to provide opportunities for people around, the United Kingdom and get the endorsements. If you have a PhD, go to the academia route, show all of the papers you've written, get, a professor in your field in the UK that can endorse you and get on a global talent visa. And you have the right to work anywhere. So even if your business is not generating enough income, you can get a job elsewhere and still be on the global talent visa. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, state in the comment section. If you find this video informative or resourceful, do it to hit on the like button. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do it to hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my 30 subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.